extra English practice.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today, Larissa and I are going to have another conversation so you can have a little listening practice. Here we go. Hey Larissa.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in the city or the country? Countryside.
I was born in a city, but we moved to a small city, which I consider a town, when I was 2. But then most of my life, I lived in another small town, which really was a small town. It had 12,000 people in it.
Oh, that is small.
So that's what I consider the place I grew up in. How about you?
I grew up in small towns also. When I was really little, when I was born, we lived on a farm. So that was definitely out in the country, the countryside. Yeah. But then we moved into a town where I lived until I was a grown-up.
Okay. And now you live in a city.
Now I live in a city.
We live in the same city.
Not a big city, I guess, especially compared to international cities.
Yeah, compared to the world, it's a very small city, but it's probably in the top 20 cities size-wise in Canada.
Maybe. Yeah.
Probably.
We'll look it up after.
So what do you prefer?
Now, I prefer living in a city. Mostly because I don't like to drive. And if you live in the countryside, you have to drive to get anywhere.
Yeah.
But here I can just walk to restaurants or catch a bus to work or, so many options.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What about you? Do you prefer the town or the city?
I like the convenience of the city. I like that everything is here. If I want to see a doctor, it's nearby. If I want to go out to anything, to the museum, there's stuff. Great libraries, great restaurant. There's all sorts of conveniences. But I like the pace of life in a small town or in the countryside. I've never lived in the countryside.
Yeah.
But in a small town, people seem to know each other more.
That's right. They're friendlier on the street.
Yeah.
Plus, I think, raising kids, or when I was a kid, the town was nice then, because you're right, I knew everybody, I felt safe, there was always someone to go to if I needed help or something. It's a good place for kids, maybe.
Oh, another thing.
Yeah.
There's usually a lot more opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
In the city.
Yeah.
So when you think about getting a job or changing jobs or going to school, like university, a lot of people move to the city for those things.
Yeah.
And then they tend to stay. What's the biggest city you've ever lived in?
In university, I lived in Montreal.
Oh.
Which is one of Canada's biggest cities, and it was the biggest city I've lived in. It was awesome, too. I loved it. I was studying art, so it was the perfect place to be.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. What
about overseas?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how big... I lived in the capital of Laos, which is Vientiane, but I don't know how many people live there. I think Montreal is probably bigger.
Interesting.
I'm not sure, though. And in India, I lived in the countryside, in a small campus outside of town, so... You? Where's the biggest city you've lived in?
I was born in Toronto.
Oh, that's a big one. By Canadian standards.
But I was only there till I was 2, so I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I lived in Doha, which was a pretty big city for the country.
Yeah.
But same thing, like talking about the
small
big
country.
cities in the world, I've really never experienced something like Tokyo or Seoul
Bangkok.
or Mexico City. Like I've never really lived in a place like that.
One day, maybe.
Maybe, but it seems intimidating to me.
It does. It seems like a lot.
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like the people and the hustle and the bustle, and I like to have some quiet along with some convenience. I just want it all.
Yeah, exactly.
The best of all worlds.
Yeah, the best of all worlds. That's right. Do you think you'll stay in the city, or do you want to move back to a small town someday?
Now that I've lived in the city, I don't think I'd move back. I wouldn't try to move back.
Yeah.
Whatever happens. But no, I think in the city, at least in a small Canadian city, it's easy to have both. The convenience of the city, but the small town feel. And so I think I would stay here.
Best of both worlds. Yeah, for sure. I really prefer the city. I like being close to museums, these sorts of things, and being able to see my friends easily, ride my bike.
Yeah.
For sure. I'll stay in the city.
Good.
Great, we can stay neighbors.
We can be neighbors forever.
I'm excited about it.
Extra English practice.